The thing no man wants to talk about, they don't tell you this part. They don't tell you that one day you'll wake up, and nothing stirs down there, not even a flicker. You'll stare at your body and wonder, where did he go? Where did I go? You might smile through breakfast, pretend everything's fine, but something deep inside aches, not just in your body, but in your identity. You're a man after all, and for most of your life that meant strength, drive, desire. But now silence, and here's the hardest part. No one talks about it, not your friends, not your doctor, not even your partner, because society has trained you to swallow it, to believe it's normal. It's just age, they say. Slow down, be grateful, but you remember what it felt like, the energy, the hunger, the fire, and you wonder if that man is gone for good. Then something unexpected happens. A man in his late 60s comes into my clinic. Quiet, well-mannered, embarrassed, he leans in and says, "Doc, I did something weird." I ask what, and he says, "I rubbed garlic, infused oil mixed with a pinch of baking soda, right on it." I blink. "You what?" He nods. "I didn't expect much, but within days, I felt alive again. This wasn't about superstition. It wasn't about desperation. It was about one man refusing to give up on himself. One man searching for answers when the world offered none." And as strange as it sounds, the science behind what he did, it actually makes sense. So if you're watching this, feeling that quiet loss in your body, if you've ever stared at yourself and felt less than who you used to be, you're not alone. And you're not broken. What happens next might surprise you, because sometimes the simplest ingredients can reignite something you thought was gone forever. Let's talk about it. When morning stops coming, you wake up. And nothing stirs, not the warmth you used to feel between your legs, not the pulse of energy that once greeted you at dawn like a silent promise, just stillness. You sit on the edge of the bed, your wife still sleeps. Or maybe she pretends. You wonder if she notices, you wonder if she misses it, but you don't ask, because deep down you already know. This silence inside your body, it didn't happen all at once. It crept in quietly. First fewer spontaneous erections, then less sensation, and now just a strange numbness, as if a part of you simply shut down. Maybe you blamed stress or bad sleep or age. That's what they always say, right? It's just aging. But here's the thing, aging doesn't have to feel like dying. I've treated hundreds of men like you, strong men, men who built businesses, raised families, fought through life. And yet, when this part of their body stops responding, it breaks something deeper, not just physically but emotionally. You start to ask questions in the dark. Is this it for me? Will I ever feel alive again? Is this the slow fading of my masculinity, and no one talks about it? Not your buddies, not your doctor unless you bring it up. So you stay silent, you pretend everything's fine, but inside there's a grief that no one prepared you for. Here's the truth, brother. What you're feeling isn't weakness. It's not failure. It's your body asking for help, for circulation, for nutrients, for oxygen, and you can give it that, naturally, safely, without shame, because this isn't the end. It's the beginning of you finally listening, not to fear, but to healing. Soft pause in the next chapter. We'll talk about something even deeper, the quiet shame men carry, and why it's time to let it go. The hidden shame between the sheets. You don't talk about it. Not to your partner, not to your friends, not even to your doctor. Because how do you explain that the very thing that once made you feel like a man now leaves you feeling like a stranger in your own body? So instead, you pull away. You fake sleep. You flinch when she reaches for you. You blame stress, cholesterol, maybe even your age. But deep down, there's a quiet ache. A shame that settles in your chest like a cold stone, and it doesn't come from weakness, it comes from caring too much, because you remember who you used to be, the man who woke up ready, the man who didn't have to second guess himself, the man whose body responded the moment desire sparked, and now it's like your body forgot how to speak that language. I've seen this in men again and again, good men, strong men. They come into my office with normal blood pressure and healthy hearts. But when the door closes, their voices drop. They say things like, "I avoid going to bed at the same time as her," or I pretend I'm tired so she won't know. Not because they don't love her, but because they do. And the thought of not being able to show it, not being able to rise to the moment is unbearable. But here's what I want you to know. You are not alone in this, and you are not broken. What's happening isn't about your manhood disappearing, it's about your body signaling that it needs care, not shame. Your performance in the bedroom does not define your worth, and while this pain is real, so is the possibility of healing, because what's been buried in silence can be brought back to life gently, naturally, and with dignity. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. He looked me in the eyes and said, I tried everything. He sat across from me, shoulders slumped, eyes hollow, voice just above a whisper. I've tried everything, Doc, he said, blue pills, green juices, even those late night herbal powders from the internet. He forced a laugh. But behind it was grief. This man was 66, once a hard working mechanic, the kind who could lift an engine block with bare hands and still make it home in time for a slow dance with his wife. But now he felt like a shadow of who he used to be. No morning erections, no spark in his chest, just numbness below the belt and inside the heart. I asked him gently, what are you really afraid of? He looked up. That it's over, that I'll never feel like a man again. It's a fear too many men carry silently. But then something changed. He'd heard from a friend, an old war buddy, about a strange natural remedy, garlic oil mixed with a pinch of baking soda. Rubbed directly, applied gently. He was skeptical but desperate, so he tried it. Twice a week at night, no pills, no expectations. 3 weeks later he was back in my office, but this time different. Shoulders upright, face lit. I don't know if it's placebo or God, he said, but I woke up, hard and happy. He wasn't just talking about erections, he meant something deeper, feeling alive again. Reconnected, masculine, hopeful. Now I'm not saying this remedy is magic, but I am saying that your body wants to work. And sometimes nature gives us tools that science is just beginning to respect. If you've tried everything and nothing has worked, you're not alone, and maybe, just maybe the answer isn't more pills. It's something simpler, closer to the earth, and closer to yourself. Let's talk about how it works and how to use it safely. Coming up next, the erection equation, nitric oxide, blood flow, and the garlic secret. You've been told it's in your head. That maybe you're just too old, or too tired, or not trying hard enough. But let me tell you the truth, because you deserve more than shame. Erections are not just about desire, they're about blood, pure and simple. Inside your body, there's a natural gas called nitric oxide. It's not something you feel, but without it, nothing flows. Nitric oxide tells your blood vessels to relax, to open, so when the moment is right, blood rushes to where you need it most. That's how an erection begins, not in your mind, but in your arteries. But over time, your vessels stiffen, not from age alone, but from inflammation, poor diet, lack of movement. It becomes harder for blood to reach down there, and you start to feel it in your confidence, in your silence, in the way you avoid intimacy. That's where garlic comes in. Crushed, raw garlic releases allicin, a powerful compound that supports blood flow, lowers blood pressure, and boosts nitric oxide production naturally. It's like a forgotten switch in your body, waiting to be flipped back on. Now combine that with a pinch of baking soda, a simple alkaline salt that helps neutralize excess acidity in the tissues. Too much acid in the body, especially in the pelvic area, can irritate nerves and tighten vessels. But when you alkalize the skin gently, you promote better circulation and reduce inflammation. This isn't some internet gimmick, it's chemistry, it's circulation, it's reclaiming what's been quietly fading. So no, you're not broken, you're not done, you're just missing flow, and now that you understand the real cause, the next question becomes, how do you apply this safely without causing harm? Let's walk through that in the next chapter. Step by step, Chapter title: How to Use Garlic Oil and Baking Soda Safely. There's something powerful about reclaiming your health with your own two hands. No prescription, no cold clinic, just nature, knowledge, and a quiet decision to take care of yourself again. If you've made it this far in the journey, you're likely curious, maybe even hopeful. You've heard the story, you've seen the science. Now it's time to talk practical steps: how to use garlic oil and baking soda in a way that's both effective and safe. Let's start with the oil. Take 3-4 cloves of fresh garlic. Peel them. Crush them gently to release the allicin, that's the active compound that boosts circulation. Place them in a small glass jar and cover with 2-3 tablespoons of pressed olive oil or coconut oil. Let it infuse overnight, at least 12-24 hours. Then strain the garlic out. What you're left with is potent, natural garlic. Infused oil. Now the baking soda. You only need a small pinch, about 1/8 of a teaspoon. Mix it into a teaspoon of your garlic oil. Stir gently until smooth. That's your blend. Before anything else, always patch test on your inner forearm. Wait 24 hours. No redness, no burning. You're likely good to go. Apply the oil gently to the base of the shaft and surrounding area, not the tip, and never inside. Use soft, circular motion. Let it sit for 10-15 minutes. Then wash off with lukewarm water and a mild, unscented soap. Use it 2 to 3 times a week, no more. This isn't about force, it's about flow, healing, and waking up long-neglected pathways of blood, energy, and touch. But here's what I always tell my patients: if you have cuts, irritation, or any kind of skin issue down their weight, heal first. This practice is for restoration, not risk. And remember, if anything feels off, stop. Your body will tell you the truth long before a bottle ever will. You're not just applying oil, you're learning to listen. You're creating a quiet ritual of self-respect. And in that stillness, something begins to return. When he stood tall again in every way, there's a quiet moment that happens after the storm, when a man looks in the mirror and sees himself again, not the tired eyes, not the sagging shoulders, but himself, the man who once walked into a room with fire in his step and mischief in his grin. You may have forgotten that version of you. Life dims things over time: stress, age, heartbreak, a body that no longer responds the way it used to, and when the erections fade, it's not just a physical loss, it's like a curtain closes between you and your masculinity. But here's the truth: that curtain, it's not locked shut. I had a patient, 67 years old. He came to me hollowed out, not sick, but silent. His wife still loved him, but he couldn't meet her eyes anymore. He said, "Doc, I feel like I'm disappearing." We started simple, no pills, just circulation work, garlic oil, baking soda, blood flow restoration, and something began to shift, not just in his body but in his spirit. He came in one morning and laughed for the first time in months. "I woke up hard today," he said, then paused. "Felt like I was 20 again, not just there, but here." And he tapped his chest. "That's what this is really about. Not just erections, but energy, presence, pride. When you stand tall in your body again, you start to stand tall in your life. You wear that shirt you haven't touched in years. You let your wife catch you changing. You walk outside without that invisible weight dragging behind you. This is your rebirth. And it's not about youth, it's about aliveness, because the fire never left you. It just needed oxygen again. So if you're feeling like you've faded, know this: you're not broken. You're becoming, and the man in the mirror, he's still waiting for you to meet his gaze, standing tall, in every way. You're not broken, you're just uninformed. There's a quiet lie that settles into the hearts of many men after 60. It whispers in the dark: you're done. You stop waking up with the same energy. Your body doesn't respond the way it used to. And somewhere between the doctor's appointments and the silence in the bedroom, you begin to wonder, is this just who I am now? But here's the truth no one told you: you are not broken. You are simply working with a body that's asking for new wisdom, not shame. And once you begin to listen, everything changes. You see, your vitality isn't lost. It's just buried beneath years of stress, inflammation, poor blood flow, and misinformation. The pharmacy told you to take pills. The media told you it's your fault. Even your friends stopped talking about it, pretending their fire never faded. But nature has always offered another path, simple, powerful things, like garlic oil to boost circulation, baking soda to reset your body's balance, sunlight, stillness, breath, touch without judgment. I've treated men who thought it was over, who carried the weight of failure in their chest and the shame of softness in their bones. And yet, just weeks into the right routine, they stood taller, smiled again, slept deeper, loved without fear. So let this be your reminder: you are not weak. You are not past your prime. You are wiser. You are still needed. And you still deserve passion, not as a luxury, but as a part of healing. Aging doesn't mean losing your fire. It means learning how to tend it with more care. And that journey begins. Not in a pill bottle, not in silence, but in a simple decision to stop accepting decline and start choosing restoration. Because the most important part of you was never broken, it was just waiting for you to come back.